Do you have old patriarchal rules getting in the way of making, keeping, or managing your money? That's one of the areas women often have a counterproductive rule from the patriarchy that's rattling around in their subconscious that men just simply don't have to struggle with. I'm Nancy Lynn Ruth, and in the last few talks here, I have been telling about old patriarchal rules holding my MVP club members and other clients back. So today, I want to tell you about how patriarchal rules have shown up to limit their profitability. That's the P in MVP. And then I'm going to walk you through a way I use with clients to test to see if you have any of those same rules. So it's really easy to recognize an old patriarchal influence in a subconscious profitability rule that we uncover. Pretty much any rule that has a man or men in it probably has its roots in the patriarchy. So a big one that comes up a lot is I shouldn't make more than a man. Now that can be disguised in different ways. It might look more like I shouldn't make more than my brother. Or if you don't have a brother, or if that wasn't the rule, maybe substitute a different male relative like your father or some other male relative. Or I can't make more than men. Or I don't need to make as much as a man. And this last one's a bit sneakier. No one will love me if I make too much money. You might also find the patriarchy behind any rule that contains a woman or women in it, like women aren't good with numbers, or women can't handle money well, or women don't make good decisions. One of my favorite patriarchal surprises is I should be taken care of by a man. This one has come up a lot more than I ever expected. And it's come up with women who are independent, confident, forging their own path. That I should be taken care by a man rule has even come up with women who are lesbian. And I got to tell you, none of these powerful women that I work with consciously agree with that idea that they shouldn't make more than a man, or that women can't handle their money, or that they should be taken care of by a man, or whatever it is. It's simply not what they believe consciously, logically, rationally. In fact, they usually get downright disgusted when they discover one of those rules actually has a charge for them. But when we go looking for why they aren't making more or aren't holding on to the money they make, one or more of these rules very often will pop up. It's almost always from a message that my clients received as young girls. So the rules, they aren't logical, they're not rational, heck, they're not ethical or moral, but they still have power. And then, because they're in the subconscious, once we find them, we have to tap to change them. So here's how I uncover them. First, I come up with a list of possible subconscious rules that might be getting in a client's way for some goal that they have. Then I have my client repeat each one of those possibilities and rate it on a scale of 0 to 100% for how true it feels or how powerful it feels. So 0 would be there's no charge at all to it. 100%, it will probably feel totally true, even if logically, rationally, they know it's not. So what we're measuring is the feeling, not the thinking. None of these will ever be totally or at all true, but they might feel true. So that's what we're measuring. And then the higher the number is, the more powerful it is. So there's different ways to get your rating. Some people feel it emotionally. Oh, wow, that feels 82% true. Some people feel it physically, maybe like a punch in the gut or some heaviness in a part of their body. And they'll say, oh, wow, that feels 75% true. Maybe you're like me though, and you won't have either the emotional or the physical, and instead what you'll have is like you'll say the statement and a number pops up in your head and you just accept that as the rating. That's what I do. So If you're ready, let's try it. Let's use the ones that identify. That's not all there is, but those are a good starting point ones. I'll say a statement, and you go ahead and repeat it back out loud here. That out loud does make a difference. And then you're going to give it that rating from 0 to 100% for how true or how powerful it feels. Okay? Here we go. Say out loud, I shouldn't make more than a man. What number came up for you? How powerful is that one? Try this one. I shouldn't make more than my brother. Okay, and of course, if you want to, you can change that to another male relative. I shouldn't make more than my father. What's the number there? Try this one. Women can't make more than men. Women shouldn't make more than men. So you'll notice there was just one word different between the last two ones I did. Sometimes a little word change just like that can make a big difference. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it's amazing how much of a difference there is. Try this one. I don't need to make as much as a man. Okay? No one will love me if I make too much money. Where does that come on the rating scale? I should be taken care of by a man. Women aren't good with numbers. Women don't handle money well. Women don't make good decisions. Let's take those last ones and make them more personal, because that's sometimes what our subconscious does. I'm not good with money. I don't handle money well. Go ahead and say that one. Last one. I don't make good decisions. Excuse me. All right. I did those fast, but I want you to be able to go through them. You can go back and rewatch this and pause it and take your time with these. But remember, you're not thinking, you're feeling it. How powerful does it feel? How true does it feel? Now, any of these rules can become self-fulfilling prophecies. So, for example, if you haven't handled money well in your life, it may simply be because you had that internalized rule that was handed down through the patriarchy, right? That was getting in your way. So once you release that internalized rule, you can change your relationship with money, even though in the past you hadn't handled money well in your life. Okay, so these were just a few of the possible patriarchal profitability rules. Say that 3 times fast. So you can play around with the wording of any of the ones that I gave you to try to get them closer to your subconscious rules to have a higher number. Or maybe you'll have a different rule that you can think of that you'll want to rate too. Really, anything that's got a charge over about 10% will slow your profitability down some. And the higher that number goes, the bigger the effect it's going to have on you. So, did you have any high earners? Do you have money issues which don't seem to match up with any of these rules that I just had you say here? Go ahead and DM me or email me, nancy@unblockresults.com. I'd love to hear about what's going on with you. And please know that just because you have an old rule in your subconscious, no matter how big the number, it doesn't mean you're stuck with it. You can get rid of it. Tapping really is that powerful. Okay? Till I see you again, happy tapping.